the online content manager for Worldwide Business Research, and I'm here at the Defense Logistics Conference in Arlington, Virginia. I'm here with Colonel Mark Migaleddi. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And if you don't mind by just explaining to us a little bit about your position and what you do in your organization, just to start.
Sure. I'm Mark Migaleddi. I command the Watervilet Arsenal, which is about 6 miles north of Albany, New York. We are the oldest Army arsenal, government-owned, government-operated arsenal in the entire Department of Defense. We've been operating for 198 years continuously. So the arsenal has seen these crazy trends that we're going through now, the peaks and valleys of defense spending. So yeah, the workforce is well accustomed to this.
And how many people are up there? You said about 10 miles north of Albany?
Correct. We have, actively right now, we have 680 actually direct labor people. Plus, we're also co-located with Benet Laboratories, which is our research and development and engineering arm. That's about 230 other engineers, PhD type guys who are there in development of the product.
Okay, great. And now I think you were just in the session that we sat in with Honeywell, yes?
I was.
Okay. So, gentleman giving the presentation spoke about kind of some of the like you mentioned, peaks and valleys, and also someone in the audience mentioned that, you know, maybe we should have better planning for this kind of up and down, ramping up, ramping down. What do you think about that, and how do you think that we should approach some of the challenges that are coming with this kind of ramping down from, obviously, Iraq and Afghanistan?
You know, the challenges that you have right there is almost like taking the 8-ball and shaking it, trying to look into the future. I mean, we really don't know what the next fight is going to be, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we have. And those are some of the tough issues, is how do you posture yourself logistically for the next fight? What's the next piece of equipment that you're going to have for the next fight? I think the biggest telltale sign that was not mentioned in that particular session was we're going to go into the next fight, at least through 2017 to 2020, with the same legacy platforms that we have right now. So we've got to be prepared to be able to sustain those platforms at a rate or better than what they're being sustained right now for that next fight. Now, you know, in the next fight, who knows? The hybrid cyber fight, we don't know what it's going to be like, but we've got to be prepared logistically to address that. And I think that's what General Johnson was trying to talk about in there.
Right. Now, obviously, we all know about the whole idea of doing more with less. You know, you mentioned that just now when it comes to legacy systems. But how are you at your organization going to deal with that very challenge of doing more with less in the coming years?
Well, it's called reshaping your workforce, and it's really actually being reactive to what they're ordering. You know, our product right now is large caliber cannons and mortars, and we're seeing a decline in large caliber cannons and an increase in the orders for mortars and type of sustainment and spare parts. Similar skill sets, but not exactly. So you've got to make sure that you have the right skill sets, the right people employed. So as your older workforce attrits out, that you have somebody on the bench to take their place, not only at keep comparable at what they can do, but also at making mortars and other parts inside the factory.
And as far as the conference goes, don't know how long you've been here, if you were here yesterday or not, but just some of the challenges that we're talking about here, that they're obviously, you know, general and specific. What are you kind of relating to the most, or what is something that you really want to get out of this conference, you know, and be able to take back?
I like stealing other people's ideas. In the department sense, there is no such thing as plagiarism. And as you listen to the intellect, the intellectual capital that's floating around this conference is just impressive. I'm actually humbled by listening and hearing the sidebar conversations, or even being drawn into some of those conversations where, you know, people are talking, and everything they're talking about is relevant, and there's ideas you just kind of have to think through and how you apply them to your factory, not today, not 2 years from now, but 3 and 5 years from now.
Right. And just one more question about kind of the application idea. What do you think are some of the things that you still kind of need to get over? What are the big hurdles? Are they more technological hurdles? Are they kind of policy issues, internal stuff? I mean, what is really kind of the thing you're really struggling most with and want to really kind of get over?
At my factory, I think there's some legislative things that could take place that could make business easier when dealing with a arsenal, which is very different than dealing with a depot for the Department of Defense. That's one. The second thing is, I think everybody's facing this challenge right now, is that it's the aging workforce. I mean, we have well over 61% of our workforce is eligible retirement right now. Out of that 61%, we have about 22% that have 35 to 40 years at the arsenal. So the thing is, how do you replace that skill set? Actually retain that skill set until you get another one trained up, because you can't have the brain drain. there's your challenge. You got to be able to keep them on, entice them to stay on until you have that bench built to replace them. And so there, I think, are my two biggest challenges.
And how are you doing that? How are you going to keep them on? Are you seeing people fall off yet, or are people still kind of sticking with it and standing by until you do kind of replace that skill set?
The reality right now is the economy itself is helping them stay on. Right. However, you have someone that are 41 years, 42 years, they're 63, 64, 65, they're ready to go, and they're going to go. You can't stop them. There's other incentives such as voluntary separation, incentive pay, if we think they need to go, to offer them a visa as long as you get a bench built to replace them. But you only want to use that tool when necessary. And then there's the retention tool if you have to. But right now I don't think the Department of Defense is looking for us to retain people. They're looking for us to shed some of that workforce because they know that it's time to let those go and bring on the new bodies.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. I'll let you get back to the conference. But before I let you go, since I have you here, can you just tell us, have you been to Defense Logistics before?
I have not. This is the first time I've been here. I've only been in command for 16 months, and I've been impressed with the event so far. So.
Okay, great. What have you found about the event thus far that you've enjoyed?
Right now, I really enjoyed the way they broke up these afternoon sessions. I thought that was really refreshing. And then having someone from the Wounded Warrior speak at lunchtime was just fantastic. Glenn Kunkel's a great American and a great asset to that program.
Great. Well, thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the conference.